The life and legacy of Simo Häyhä. He would become known as the deadliest sniper to ever live. Over 100 years of war, one man would change the meaning of patience, precision, and survival. This is Simo Häyhä, who was later named the White Death. Born to Juho and Katriina Häyhä in rural areas of Finland, he grew up away from war. He grew up being surrounded by forests, snow, and silence. Hunting, shooting, and skiing were not just hobbies to him, they were part of his life, and they eventually turned into skills that would later define him. When the Soviet Union invaded Finland on November 30, 1939, beginning what is now known as the Winter War, Finland was outnumbered, under-equipped, and facing a powerful military force. Yet, within the frozen forests and extreme cold, Finnish soldiers adapted to their environment, and it was in this setting that Häyhä took his place. At 17, when the war broke out, he joined the local civil guard. It was here that he began to sharpen his skills with a rifle. Unlike many snipers, he refused to use a scope because the glare would expose his position. Instead, he relied on precision and patience. Over time, he became an exceptional marksman, using the Sacco M28-30. The cold was unbearable, but for Häyhä, it was an advantage. He packed snow in front of his rifle to conceal muzzle smoke, and he would put snow in his mouth to hide his breath in the freezing air, and remained motionless for long periods despite temperatures dropping as low as -40 degrees Celsius. He blended into the landscape so perfectly, he became invisible. His method was not based on speed or aggression, but on stillness and certainty. On average, he killed 5 enemy soldiers per day. The Soviet soldiers, unfamiliar with the landscape and facing an unseen enemy, began to experience a growing sense of fear. News started circulating of a sniper who could not be located, who struck without warning and vanished immediately after. This is when he was given the nickname White Death, a name that reflected not what was seen, but what could not be seen. As his legend grew, so did the target on his back. The Soviet placed a price on his head. On March 6, 1940, near the end of the conflict, his role in the war took a sudden and dramatic turn. They finally hit him. A bullet struck his jaw. At first his comrades thought he was dead until they saw his leg move. Shortly afterward, on March 13, 1940, the Winter War came to an end. As fighting ceased across Finland, Häyhä remained in recovery, hovering between life and death. His survival was uncertain. Against all odds he survived, but the damage was severe. His face was permanently disfigured, and he underwent multiple surgeries to rebuild it. He was then recognized as one of the most effective snipers in history, with hundreds of confirmed kills. Yet even as his reputation grew, the image that remained most powerful was not one of a public figure, but of a silent presence in the snow, unseen, disciplined, and precise. He was awarded the Knight in Mannerheim Cross. He lived a long life after the war, more than 6 decades after the events that defined his place in history, passing away at 96 in April 2002. His death marked the end of a life that had moved from isolation, through war, and back into quiet existence. What remains is not an image tied to appearance or personality, but a legacy shaped by discipline, endurance, and the ability to operate in silence. But after everything, he was asked one question. Did he regret it? This is what he had to say. To him it was never about becoming a legend, only about doing his duty.